Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos, Parshas, Noach. If you notice the change of location, as we had a blackout, not just in the shul, but in that whole area, but Baruch Hashem, in my house, we have light. So the Derasha is from here. Parshas Noach, so I want to start off with a couple of questions that I encourage everybody to ask at the Shabbos table. Now, we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought the Mabul. Hashem brought the flood to the world in the times of Noach because Hishchis Kol Basar is Darka Al Haaretz. Because there was a breakdown, a complete breakdown of the human being, and that affected the animals. Rashi says, he brings the Medrash, even the Gimel Tfachim Shel Macharesh, even the actual land itself was to an extent destroyed and broken down. There was a need to start again. HaKadosh Baruch Hu to start again. It's Madur Shnia, it's a second option. A second mahalach, and let's start again from Noach. Why was there a need for the Mabul to last 12 months? Hashem could have just destroyed the world in a second, in a minute, in a second, in a millisecond, and then start Noach rebuilding the world again. What's the need for 12 months? It was a nes. The Meshech Chachma points out that the way that they lived in the Teva was all al pines. He brings it from Sukkim. It's a famous Ramban in this week's Parsha that why did Hashem command Noach to make such a large Teva? Anyway, it couldn't fit all the animals al pi derech hateva naturally. He could have made 4x4 amas. It could be a 6x6 feet, and that also would have been essentially the same miracle. The Ramban says Hashem always likes to mema'et the nes. Hashem always likes to make the nisim smaller as much as he can. So you could have been the nes and just had one big nuclear explosion, and Noach would have been saved. That would have been a miracle. But then the rest of the time, it would have been the natural order. What's this need for this 12-month miracle? Why not just do it in 1 second? That's question number one. Question number two is a pasuk in Perek Ches and pasuk Yates. When the pasuk describes Noach and his family and the animals leaving the Teva, it says, "Vayetze Noach ubanav ishto v'nishev itoy." That's pasuk Yirches. In pasuk Yites, "Kol hachaya, kol haremes, v'chol oif, v'chol roives al haaretz l'mishpachei seihem yotzu." It says there's a focus that the animals left l'mishpachei seihem, according to their families. Yotzu min hateva, they left the teva. What does that mean? They left the mishpachei seihem. They left with the family. So to strengthen the question, the Gemara in Sanhedrin, it's a fascinating Gemara. It's recommended reading Daf Kuf Ches in Sanhedrin, a big block Gemara. It goes through the entire story of Noach. A lot of what we see in Rashi comes from that Gemara in Sanhedrin. It's worthwhile reading Parshas Noach to go through Sanhedrin Daf Kuf Ches. So there Rabbi Yochanan says, he's medayik the pasuk, and he says they left l'mishpachaseyem v'loy heim, and not them. They left with their families, but not them. So what does that mean? That they didn't leave. They left their families, not with them. But what does that mean? Two questions. Why was the Mabul 12 months? It should have been a millisecond. And number two, what's this emphasis that when the animals, the people as well, there was only one family there, but when the animals left, they left the mishpachei seihem v'loyhem, and not them. They didn't leave. They left the mishpachei seihem with their families. What does that mean? So we come to our Meshech Chachma, our Gevaldige Meshech Chachma, on Perek Ches, pasuk Yates, and he asked this question. The Meshech Chachma asks, why is it that the Mabul was 12 months? It should have been a fraction of a second. Ulam, says the Meshech Chachma in the middle of the piece, Ki hishchis kol basar is dark al haaretz. We know that all the animals their nature was destroyed. The humans, they were stealing and they were doing avodah zarah, a lot of other bad things. And the animals also, there was a hashchasa, there was a destruction to the animals. The nishchas tchunas habalechayim legamri, their tchunas hanefesh, their characteristics were totally destroyed and broken down. The tivam hoyel ehov hara v'hachamas. It's an amazing thing. The teva of the animals became le'ehov esara, to like the evil. There's a whole discussion about different things. I don't want to get into politics or other sensitive topics right now. It's not the time. But people have desires for things the Torah says is 100% incorrect, right? So the question is, how can Hashem make a person with a desire for something that's completely prohibited? How is that possible? I have a natural feeling for this. So it says, the Meshech Chochmah says that it's possible for a person to create a teva, a nature within himself, le'ehod es hara, to love evil. It's possible. So it could be a person engendered that nature. A person has a desire for food that's very destructive for him. How can Hashem make me want to eat pizza all day, 3 times a day? What do you mean? You caused yourself to have that desire. We see from the Mabul that it's possible for a person to create a nature in himself where he's oihev es hara, where he loves what is bad. V'lazeh, says the Meshech Chochmah, unbelievable yisoid, hayat tzorech chinuch shnei marasar chodesh. There was a need to re-educate the animal kingdom. There was a need to re-educate the humans. Everyone held back from relations. And they had to get used to living on the bare minimum. And all the animals, even the wild, the lions and the tigers, had to get used to being mefarnes, to being sustained, fed by a human being. And that caused, obviously, them to fear man. That had to be a re-education. The animals didn't fear anyone. They didn't fear humans, naturally, not lions, but many animals fear human beings, and that was lost. Hashem had to make it that all the animals saw that all their sustenance comes from Noach. And that lions weren't hunting. Once they had 12 months of such a chinuch, where there's an order, and you don't get everything you want, and you can't just act however you want, you can't do whatever you want to your body, you can't just do whatever you want. There's a chinuch that humans control the animals. There's a chinuch that HaKadosh Baruch Hu controls the humans. Then they're ready to leave the teva, go back into society, and live a life that is straight. Like it says, it was unbelievable. After the Mabul, there was no longer any promiscuous activities. Like it says in the Medrash, and the point of the 12 months, the reason why Hashem didn't just do it, in one instant, Hashem did it in 12 months, was to create a teva sheni, really a teva shlishi, I guess, was to create a second nature. For that, you needed 12 months to create that second nature, to change the tchunas hanefesh, the nature of the animals, the nature of the humans. This answers our second question. That's why it says, they left the teva with their families. Like Rashi says, they accepted upon themselves, the animals, to stay within their species. They were cohabiting with other species before the Mabul, and that was part of the hashchas of the destruction. So when they came out of the teva, they made this kabbalah, this promise, they're going to stay within their min. And that's because that supernatural state they were in for 12 months, which imbued them with a fear of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, habilti tivi, which wasn't normal, that got them back to creating the second nature. What does it mean they left Mishpachasehem v'loy heim, but they themselves didn't leave? Kinasu kebriya acheres. They were like a new bria. They were like a new bria. V'haroya oisem b'tkufa akedemes l'mabul v'ro oisem achar mabul would say, I'm seeing someone else. If you would have seen the tiger, if you would have seen the leopard and the moose before the Mabul, and then you'd look at them after the Mabul, you'd see a different animal. The animal has changed. Because their teva changed, their entire nature changed through the Mabul, and there was a chil of gomer, complete change, and therefore, that's the pshat. They left the mishpachaseyim. They left with a different tchunas hanavish, with a different teva, both the animals as well as the humans. So if we can apply it to ourselves, now I don't normally pull out the COVID card. I don't think we should always be talking about it. I think we have to live life normally, and it's a reality, but it shouldn't be an obsession. But Lamaisa, it's an interesting idea that, and I'm sure we're going to hear this a lot over the Shabbos, that when Hashem destroyed the world and sent Noach and his family into the Teva, on a much smaller scale, Hashem kind of shut everything down and sent everyone into their Teva. When I say Teva, I mean into their houses. Hashem sent Noach and his family away from everyone else, Hashem sends all of our families into our homes. Now, Baruch Hashem, things have been opening up, and the schools are open, and the shuls are open. It's gavaldik, but we still have this tremendous focus on the family in the house. We can't go anywhere we want. There's limitations. Many of us are still not having company. It's just the family unit together, all their meals, all week long. It could be al derech, the Mabul, and the teva. Just like going into the teva was a chinuch of sorts, you have to reprioritize, think again, what are our goals in life? So too, HaKadosh Baruch was kind of telling us, go into your teva, go into your home with your family, and spend time and figure out your identity, figure out your family's identity, and then we'll be able to, Be'ezer Hashem, very soon come out of our teva and rejoin society like it was in the good old days, and things go back to normal, and we'll be Madil Torah Ulahadira. Wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos and a healthy Shabbos, and hope to be able to see everyone very soon. Kol Tov.